Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. It is me, once again, screaming into the void of the internet. Just finished closing, so I kind of want to talk about something that's... I'll use it as a starting point, and I'm going to talk about, I guess, like relation craps, as I like to call them. I think guys in general, and I guess even ladies, but let's be real, like, this mainly applies to men more than chicks because men usually get shafted in this scenario. I think men in general, whether you are like just whether you got two freaking nickels or, tons of cash in the bank, you need to protect yourself, dude. There are so many people, in general, that are trying to get your money. But the ones that you least expect are the ones that you're over here opening your hearts to. And that's a lot of ladies. Contrary to what people want to think, I'm just going to be real, guys. Freaking chicks aren't free.
No, don't say that about them. We're not property.
Well, you're not willing to be with a guy for who they are. You're willing to be with a guy for what they can do. And you see this time and time again where it's like, let's say a guy, becomes relatively successful. They don't really get much attention from chicks, when they aren't the most attractive and whatnot. But all of a sudden the money comes in and he's to die for, right? It's not because he's attractive now in terms of physical attraction. He's attractive in terms of resources, right? And too many guys fall prey to this crap. Essentially, what's kind of sparked this was the whole like Shannon Sharp thing, but it's not just Shannon Sharp, dude. It's not like I even like watch that guy on the regular or something. It's mainly just the fact that you got him, you got other guys, you got that like freaking athlete guy that like his freaking girlfriend was like beating on him or something like that. Can't remember his name, but the list goes on. Okay, like I'm sure there are people in your personal life, if like you didn't see parents get divorced, that you can tell like these freaking gals is bananas about that bullcrap, right? But I'm trying to talk about this because listen, man, I gotta be real. Even in my personal life, I think I talked about it like months ago, but like there's a chick that we're like rooming with, and even after like moving here, like they came with us, right? And essentially her daughter is like, she always wants me to like essentially pursue her, but I don't really care because at the end of the day, like, she's a gold digger. She thinks that it is, and she's said this many times, okay, she thinks that it's a guy's obligation to provide, even though, again, like, in all this time, like, she's not giving me anything of hers. And I'm not talking about like sex. I'm saying she's not showing interest. She's not like... Interest is supposed to be mutual. That's how I've always seen it, You want me to follow you. You want me to provide for you and all this stuff. And you aren't even showing any other interest. And the only reason that you're kind of showing it now is because I'm working. And I've never understood why guys aren't sharp enough to see that. Because it's not like it takes tons and tons of, like, brilliance to see. You just have to see it for what it is. My thing is this, okay? My thing is this. If you can accept that you gotta pay for the snatch, alright. If you're one of these guys that can't accept it, and stuff like that, and you just think that eventually you'll find a person that likes you, and it just so happens to be that they like you because you also have plenty of money, and you're in shape, and stuff like that, but that has nothing to do with it, and, I don't know what to tell you, but, if you want to believe that that person loves you, I'm not gonna take that away from you, Because, again, for me, I've said this many times, I see this as, just more crap that we were lied to. They told us about the Tooth Fairy, Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, monster under the bed, blah, 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 blah. They talked about all of that stuff. Is it really so hard to believe that, like, the whole true love, blah, 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 doesn't exist? Because, listen, if that were really the case, why do people say I love you to multiple people? Why do you have multiple girlfriends or boyfriends? And I mean this not in the sense that you have multiple at one time. I mean, you've had multiple in your lifetime. And it wouldn't surprise me if you said, I love you to them. Right? So, if that's your soulmate, if that's your true love, why are you saying I love you to other people? I'm just saying it's something to think about, right? You gotta be sharp. For me, like I said, I'm a cold bastard. I'll just say that, okay? I'm a cold bastard. I've been through a lot in life. So the whole, like, distractions of the heart, essentially, as I like to call them. I don't give a rat's arse. I'm not over here watching freaking content like from these freaking clowns making videos about how lonely they are and how in their minds, every time they see people, they just automatically think they're a couple and all kinds of crap. And I'm just like, listen, dude, listen. If it matters that much to you, you will make changes in your life to get it. I'm just being real. You'll make changes to get it. You'll get a passport, you'll bust your arse with work and just attract resources and stuff like that, because that's just what you have to do as a guy. Is it fair? Absolutely not. That's why, hands down, one of the things that's motivating me is to hopefully try and give guys some goddamn options. If I can get into like this tech field and this robotics and stuff like that, designing AI and companion dolls, then I can hopefully, I'm not going to pretend like I can save every guy, but it will give guys a freaking alternative to busting their arse, doing all of this. Next thing you know, like, you could find yourself on the receiving end of the goddamn lawsuit where you're losing all this money from this chick that you were once saying, oh, I love her, she'll be with me forever. This is not, I don't really understand why people have a hard time seeing the world for what it is. You don't have to like it. I think that people think that once they see it for what it is, they have to be okay with it. You have to be okay with it. I'm not okay with it. I don't think that it's fair. I don't think tons of stuff in this world is fair. Not by a long shot. But I have to see it for what it is. And a lot of people don't want to see it for what it is. And that's a goddamn shame. Because it's really screwing them over. Big time. It's screwing them over big time. And as a result, they're getting fleeced and played like a fiddle. And it doesn't have to be that way, guys. Not at all. You don't have to tolerate that. You can see it and accept it. Because like I said, I've said this before and I'll keep saying it again. I'm fine just paying for it. By me paying for it, or by you paying for it if you do pay, you get literally more sex than married men. 30% of married men who admitted to it, okay? It's a study that you have to admit to. You think most guys are going to admit to taking care of their wives and them not getting any action at all? 30% of men admit in marriage to being in a sexless marriage. Just by you paying. You are literally getting more action than 30% that we know of. Okay, these are the guys that admitted to it, of married men. Because listen, I don't really understand why people have a hard time. Listen, the chick's not going to be there for free. And if you really want to test if that chick loves you, if you want to like try that, say you lost your job. Say you got injured. Watch how they look at you then. I've seen it time and time again, boys. Is every gal like that? No. Are enough of them like that? Absolutely. I've said this before, say it again. There are general truths and generalizations. I'm not the type of person to talk about relationship craps and stuff like that, but when you're seeing every time you turn around like some random freaking guy who's become successful, and then what's trying to screw him over? Some freaking gal that he's getting involved with. Now, is it his fault? Yes. Yes, it is. But at the end of the day, does that excuse the fact that some gal is trying to use the courts and the laws that she knows favors her to ruin his life? Absolutely not. She is not without fault. He may not be without fault, but she is certainly not without fault on a massive scale. I'd argue higher than his. It's bullcrap. And you have to prepare yourself for that. You do. Because listen, I'm telling you, I'm going to speak from personal stance. I know that this gal that's staying with us is going to be looking at me different. I know that she's going to be looking at me, seeing if I'm going to fall for, again, just the hint, the potential to get laid, to get resources from me. No, it's not happening. It's not happening. My dick does not run my life, never has, and it never will. Not if I've got anything to say about it. And if guys were smart, a lot of them would avoid a lot of issues if they thought that way too. No, it does not mean that you don't like sex. No, it does not mean that you don't like women. But you don't let them put you in positions that are not going to be favorable toward you too. Not at all. And I am of the opinion that you have to protect yourself, because these laws, they're just going to keep doing stuff like that. You got to understand, as marriage goes down, the courts still want to get resources, right? They still want to get resources one way or the other. So you got common law marriage. You got the whole, oh, he was assaulting me. retracted consent after you've done the do? No. So, personally, to me, I'm just going to say it like this, guys. You guys got to protect yourselves. Do not put yourselves in these positions with these gals. And if you're going to interact with them, you better have something. I mean it. You better have something. I hear some guys say that, well, that's why they don't really feel comfortable, messing with like the hookers and stuff like that. But my thing is this, like, in their instance, they have a bit more to lose because they know that they're not supposed to be out there prostituting themselves. And so if they get caught, then, there's a little bit more extra, with them. If you go to a massage parlor and stuff like that, you can look stuff up and find out, if it's actually got, the secret services, if you catch my drift and stuff like that. So that's how I see it, because like I said, guys, it's nowhere near what you guys think it is. Maybe it would be if it was actually, with somebody that had a connection with you, but good luck finding people that can connect with you. Let's be real. Good luck finding people that can connect with you. That is not in high frequency these days. Not at all. And that's fine, because like I said, for me, the main thing I care about is peace. I don't sit around here and toss and turn and cry myself to sleep over, where's Miguel at? Like I said, when you got to worry about going homeless, when you got to worry about being hungry, and you got all these things that you have to deal with, like for me personally, like, pussy, really? You think that that's what I'm worried about? I'm just saying this from my perspective. Potential homelessness, having to maybe fight somebody who's considering, like, trying to break into my car while I'm sleeping in there, and you think I'm worried about pussy? Nah, man. Not me. I'm not going to pretend like some guys just aren't, because, listen, I've seen this in terms of, like, history, and history has, accounts of this, like, where, like, these guys are on, like, sinking ships, and the last thing that they about to do is just go try and snuggle a chick. So I'm not going to pretend like some guys, like, that's what they want to do with the freaking last moments of their lives, but I'm not one of them. Not one of them. I don't value it that much, and it is what it is. It is just my hope that once I get into this field, even if it can't happen in my lifetime, I can help, get it going, get the ball going. Because guys really need this. And I really hope that once they have this option, then they can at least have something to help fill the void if they really just feel like they have to have that. And they don't have to worry about getting fleeced 24/7 because they'll actually have an alternative, I know this video is a bit different than what I'm usually over here talking about, but it's just really irritating to see these guys, like, within months of each other just getting fleeced over and over again, It's just... it's stupid to see. Because it doesn't have to be that way. Doesn't have to be that way at all. Sorry, I was just taking a sip of this drink as I'm waiting. Doesn't have to be that way. But gonna go ahead and leave it here, boys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for listening to my crazy arse again. Please do protect yourself if you are going to go ahead and mess with some of these gold diggers, because it's virtually impossible to know who's genuine and who's not these days. So again, thank you guys for listening. I'm hanging in there. Hope you guys are hanging in there too. We got to keep this fight going together. Let me know how you guys are doing in the comments if you don't mind sharing. I will see you guys next time. God bless.